A very good day to all of you. Today I am here to discuss Rajmohan's Wife novel. It's a beautiful social novel written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay or Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. He was a remarkable Bengali novelist as well as a journalist. You all know he is famously known as a writer of Vande Mataram, the national song of India, and he was the first to break the dry monotony of Bengali prose. And he introduced informality and intimacy into literature, into Indian English literature. So this novel, Rajmohan's Wife, it's the first published novel in English by an Indian. And this novel was serialized in 1864 in a short-lived magazine published from Calcutta, now known as Kolkata. But it did not appear as a book in the author's lifetime. So the book soon went into oblivion. It was a very interesting book, though it was neglected. But its plot and characters, they symbolically map the birth of modern India as well as the modern Indian woman through political, cultural and social context. So today in this video, I would like to focus some of the social reformation or the social issues that were prevalent in that time when the book was written, when the novel was written. So woman is the central idea of the novel Rajmohan's Wife. And the novelist Chatterjee, he wrote on particular issues like domestic violence, beating of women, dowry and superstition. So women, he has been he has been seen in many forms and expected in various objects. And the novelist, he wanted women's upliftment and free he wanted to free them from the social bondage which suffocates her real freedom, which curbs her desires, her wishes. So in this novel, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, he has written on them on the theme of love and romance. So the novelist has portrayed beautiful woman, Matangini, who is bold, beautiful, passionate, and she is even braver than man in the novel. And in a true sense, the writer advocated women's place, prestige in the patriarchal society, in the society that is male dominating, in the chauvinistic male chauvinism, where male chauvinism prevails. So we will discuss about something about Indian English writing. So Indian English writing, you all know that it's a body of literature which is written by Indian in English. So these writers, they found language and literature versatile, and some of the intellectuals took to conveying their social religious thoughts in this language. And we have the poets like Raja Rammohan Rai, Swami Vivekanand, Mahatma Gandhi. They have written some beautiful work, and they started pouring in expressing their ideas, and they gave rise to a body of literature having we can say great social relevant topic, social cultural relevance. So this novel came to existence in India in the second half of the 19th century. So, in this video, we will discuss this novel, Rajmohan's Wife, as a social novel. So, first of all, social novel means the novel which depicts and shows social problems, or it's a realistic fiction. Realistic fiction originated in 18th century but gained a popularity following in the 19th century with the rise of Victorian era in many ways, and it was a kind of reaction to industrialization, social and political and economic issues and movements. So the novel deals with the issue of society. So as the title suggests, Rajmohan wife, so it is suggestive that the novel, we have a kind of main protagonist is woman here. So Chatterjee, this novel, Rajmohan's Wife, it's known by its bold and brave protagonist called Matangini, who didn't become just homemaker. She knows how to speak her mind and respects her desires. She wishes to find her inner feelings and sexuality. So, in this orthodox society, it's a path breaking action for a beautiful but woman in 18th century who loved Madhav, her brother in law. So this type of love, it was forbidden because she was married to someone else. She was married, but she was not happy. He was a he was a wellness man, and she was not happy. So she represents the power of a woman who remains firm in the brutality. She was beaten up, even she was beaten up by her husband, but she faces the situation, uh, and so she is presented as a bold woman. The plots and the characters, they symbolically describe the modern Indian woman through political, cultural, rural, and social contexts. So, Rajmohan's Wife, the novel has a unique theme of love and romance of the woman protagonist named Matangini, who is bold, who is very beautiful, and who is very passionate woman who knows her wishes, who respects her wishes, and she knows how to express them. So in the first chapter, she is shown as a typical woman who is with Khanak, her neighbor, and she is feared of getting late. She covered her face with sari. She was so afraid because she went for carrying water without taking her husband's permission, and she was always afraid of her husband at the time. So but when in the initial stage of the play, she is presented as meek, humble, very shy, timid, and a typical village woman who does all the household chores. But when she stepped outside, she is always in veil herself. So that indicates the tradition of the women culture. So Matangni follows all social rules and customs and tradition as a woman of Rajmohan's wife. She loves Madhav, her brother-in-law, and she fully accepted in front of him. She dared to save Madhav from the hand of dacoit. So this thing describes that love can conquer fear. She pined for Madhav because she loved him very much. So the whole novel revolved around Matangani's wish for Madhav. She endures her husband's torment for going to meet Madhav at midnight. So the poet has talked about he's talking about a romance through secret journey. It's nothing but love. She did as much as she could to save Madhav's life. So at last, she becomes bold, fearless, and she emerges as brave and independent woman. So the novel is based on the theme of love and romance. So in the beginning of the novel, Bankim Chandra, he vividly gives description of East Bengal rural life picture. And when Matangini came from all the time her beauty was described by a writer. She is such indescribable beauty, radiated from every movement of the other woman that it charmed the eyes first of Madhav and Mathur. So their looks remained fixed on her, and they were as fascinated by the sight as a deer by the sound of flute. So the novelist beautifully describes Matangini's beauty. She is a very attractive woman. She is passionately in love with her brother-in-law Madhav. And she firmly accepted and proposed to Madhav. Not only that she went at midnight to save Madhav through dark jungle, she took risk of saving her love when she was attacked by Rajmohan. So she slipped away and escaped from the hand of her ruffian husband. So this quality shows Matangni as a true protagonist of a woman of the 19th century in the novel. So the novelist depicted the theme of domestic violence and polygamy. He describes rituals, social customs of East Bengal's life. So when Matangani returns from what from her friend's home, she receives an attack, furious attack on her by her husband, and she was severely beaten up. She fears of her of the unbearable torment of her husband. Even she can't get stepped outside of home without taking her husband's permission. So she was really in confinement. So in the writer's period, beating of women, it was usual in his time. So as soon as Matangni saw her husband, she was fearing and trembling of the demon called husband. So here the writer has presented one more social issue that was prevalent at the time, that is polygamy. Mathur, who was married to Tara was a very nice woman. She was very amicable. She was a very pleasant lady. But Mathur married another woman called Champak at that time. So at that time, many men had two wives. So this is not a big issue in that time, and it caused many problems in their marriage life. And so the writer has described the prevailing polygamy at that time. Rajmohan's wife, it's a representation of East Bengal middle class life. The poet talks about middle class family story, customs, rituals, superstitions, and beliefs. So this type of social novel, it would surely affect on the various kind of people of his time. And the novel depicts various aspects of their life. It shows how to behave, how to talk, and how to live. So, the poet talks about, the novelist, he talks about Victorian style, and he gives his female characters a unique distinction, especially to heroine. It's We have a very wonderful story that is based on love. Matangani is braver than the hero himself. Madhav, she confessed her love for her sister's husband. Surely women are courageous and determined in Chatterjee's novel than men. Most men are corrupt and women are sufferer. So whatever reality Bankim shows and sympathizes with women's fate and miseries, he is not bold enough to give justice to women, but the character of Matangni stands alone and shines in spite of her disappearance into the cruel fate and even the attitude of others' characters like Kanak and Tara. So, uh, Rajmohan's Wife, it's a very beautiful social novel which describes so many prevalent social issues like that of domestic disharmony, legal intrigue, criminal conspiracy, passionate but forbidden love. So that the love between Matangini and Madhav, it was very passionate, it was very strong, but it was forbidden. And he describes domestic disharmony between Matangini and her husband. So Matangni's solitary journey in the dark night through forest, water, storm, and lightning, it redolent with literary echoes of Radha's search for Krishna in Vaishnav poetry, where when she braves the element to meet Krishna secretly. So, same manner, Matangani also runs to meet Madhav secretly for informing him about robbery plan. So, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee has written this social novel and depicted East Bengal's upper caste Kuleen Brahman story, which has the theme of love and romance, and it throws light on women's situation in this novel. Thank you.